everyone, welcome back to the channel. So it's been a bit longer since the last video because I had some technical issues. I mean, my original plan was to try to release a video every weekend, but I ended up losing a lot of footage. Yeah, but anyway, there's nothing I can do about it now, so we're back into, hopefully, back into releasing a video once every weekend. So this video is the next tournament week, right after the last video. Let's jump right into it and see how I do. Alright, so some of you might be thinking, why am I always playing out here in Tunisia? Well, the tournaments here, they go on pretty much all year round, week after week. And it's always in the same city, here in Monastir. So you don't have to worry about traveling between different cities, in between tournaments. And also you don't have to adapt to new conditions. It's pretty convenient. Traveling from Ireland is also not that difficult. There are pretty good connections to Germany, to France, to the UK as well. So it's a pretty good choice for me. That's why I keep coming out here a lot of the weeks. Just a quick message to you guys before we start the video. So I was checking out the YouTube analytics the other day and I noticed that 84% of you are not subscribed. What are we doing here? It costs you nothing to subscribe. It only takes a second and it's going to help the channel grow. So go do me a favor. Go down, click that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you don't miss anything, and your server is going to get 10% better. Hello everyone, so Sunday morning, just had a warm up there, getting ready for the match. Playing against a Ukrainian guy, don't know anything about him, but going into these kind of matches where I don't know anything about my opponent, just got to focus on my own game, make sure I'm serving as well as I can and executing my game as well as I can. Yeah, let's go, let's get it. Started off serving well in this match and dictating from the middle of the court with my forehand well. And my opponent, it was, let's say, a bit easier to do that because my opponent wasn't really doing much. He didn't have the weapons to hurt me from either side. So this point here is an example of what I was talking about. My opponent not doing that much in the rallies, just playing with very big margin, going middle and middle again. And I could have done something more with one of the first two forehands, but I mean, I didn't feel like I needed to take a risk because I knew nothing was coming from the other side. He had a great attitude, he was very positive, he was fighting from the beginning until the end, even though towards the end of the match the score was pretty one-sided. He had a great attitude and that's something that I definitely respect about him. Throughout this match, when I made my first serve, the percentage of me winning the point was very high. Partly because I served good, but also partly because my opponent wasn't able to come up with good quality returns. One thing that you'll notice is as the level of players gets higher, it becomes a lot more difficult to return their serves. They usually have at least one serve on each side that they're able to hit very well, and then let's say, for example, on the due side, if someone has a very good slice wide, then even if their tee is like average, it's still very difficult because you got to cover so much of the wide, so it leaves the space of the tee open. But like in the match here, I knew he didn't have one very good serve, so I didn't really have to guess either side. So I'm on most of the returns, and that's why I'm able to break so often. Alright, so managed to get it done. First win of this tournament, decent start. My opponent today didn't have the weapons to really hurt me. And I knew that if I just got a couple of good quality balls in a row, I'd be getting a shorter one where I could dictate and come in. I served pretty well throughout most of the match. I think also my opponent didn't have the best of returns, so I didn't really have to worry about, you know, a good deep return coming to my feet. So there was not really much pressure on me, especially on the second serves, which is what you're worrying sometimes when you're playing against a good returner. But yeah, a decent match for me. I served well, was dictating with the forehand well. We keep moving on. Let's go. Guys, so before we head into the next match, I just want to announce to you guys that I've launched a Patreon. If you haven't heard of Patreon before, it's a platform in which you can support me on my journey. It kind of works like buying me a coffee once a month. It's a monthly subscription basis, and those of you who support me will also gain access to exclusive content such as full unedited matches and some extra behind the scenes stuff. Also, you can help me decide on which tournaments to go to and other things like that. So why have I started this Patreon? Well, this life as a professional tennis player isn't cheap. Gotta pay for flights, accommodation, food, shoes, stringing, you know, all these things, they add up. I don't have a financial sponsor, and you know, therefore throughout the year I gotta take out many of the weeks just to make up some money to be able to afford these trips. I'm traveling without a coach, and when I'm at tournaments I'm trying to save money every now and then wherever I can. You know, it's not optimal. I want to be just focusing on the tennis and trying to get better. So if you guys would like to support me on this journey, help me out, go check out the link in the description and become a bigger part of this journey. Let's go. So this American guy, he's got a really tricky game. He's got this slice that he can very consistently get like cutting fast and deep, but he's also able to throw in that like angle short cross one that gets you thinking like, should I chip and come in, should I hit it and stay back? So yeah, tough to play against that kind of player because he's also got a big forehand. So he'll throw in that slice, step around to look for the forehand. Something that I also try to do often, but I think his slice kind of cuts a bit more than mine. Set in this match, he played really good. Don't think he did much wrong at all. And from my side, there were some errors. You know, in one of my earlier service games, I gave him an easy break. From that point on, he held, and then being up that, you know, that security with those two games, I think he became a lot more free and just played really good from that point on. Was making some great returns even when I put in a decent first serve. But yeah, that thing kind of happens often. If you give someone a good lead and he's a good player, he'll often run away with it.
Going backwards, you gotta lift that ball. Come on.
So in this point here, it was neutral up until the point where I hit a short ball. My opponent was then able to change fast down the line with his backhand, got me on the run, and then afterwards my ball was way too short, and against a player as good as this guy, he was able to step in and crush the ball and punish me for that. Yeah, so great return there from my opponent. Playing against some lower level players, you're not going to really see these type of returns, but as the levels go up, if you don't hit your spots on the serve, or if you're a bit too predictable on some big points, these kind of returns are going to happen. So yeah. sometimes I like to start serving from this very wide position, especially when it's a big point, to give my opponent a different look at the return. So second set, started strong, managed to get an early break. I was solid on that returning game. I think the first game of that second set was solid. 1 point in the game though, he made a cheap error, which helped me get that break. But then after that game, it was a very high level set. We both held serve, we traded holds up until when it was 5-4 me. I was serving for the set. Felt a bit of pressure there, which is normal against a good player like him who was able to return well, and he took advantage of that. He kept staying aggressive even in those tight moments, so yeah, credit to him for that. Alright guys, so just lost the second round qualies there against a very good player. He's someone that would normally be in main draw, but these couple of weeks here are pretty tough ranking wise. So I had to play against him. He's ranked somewhere around 900. He's been as high as 700, which is a pretty tough match for qualies, but it happens from time to time. And also if I'm planning to go deep in the main draw, that's the level player I'm gonna have to beat anyway. So I gotta look to get to the level where I'm beating these kind of players. The match itself was not great for me at the start. I made some errors. I gave him an early lead in the first set, and then after that he kind of ran away with that first set. He played really good. He was serving well, hitting big forehands. Even when I was giving a kind of a good quality ball deep on his forehand, he was able to kind of take it early and change sometimes. He had a bit of a strange backhand, but he was able to, destroy it flat, almost like with underspin. And also a great slice, so consistently deep, and he was able to get this kind of angle short cross one that kind of put me in a tricky situation where I was kind of hesitating to go forward or to stay back. So yeah, he had a great game, and it's good to play these kind of players to kind of learn different situations on the court and how to deal with these different situations. So yeah, a bit disappointed because I was up 5-3 in the second set. I was serving for the set. Didn't play poorly there, but there were a couple points I could have took. But that's tennis, you know. We got to keep moving on, keep trying to get better. That's it. On to the next one. Yeah, so maybe after this match you guys can appreciate a little bit more how difficult it is sometimes to qualify. Some people might be thinking that it's the lowest level of professional tennis and it's the qualifying, it's not even the main draw of the tournament, so it's probably going to be easy. But no, you know, a player like him, really good player, and I have to beat a player like him, sometimes two players around his level just to qualify. And from the qualifying you don't get any points, so you have to be able to, and in the qualifying you don't get any points. The qualifying is just giving you the opportunity to get into the main draw, and only from the main draw is when you start to get points. Okay guys, so this week once again I won't have any footage from the doubles because I made another big blunder. Initially my laptop stopped charging. I think it's because I was charging it overnight, and at the same time I was sending some files, and I guess that was overworking the laptop, and it got so hot. At one stage I woke up during the night and I felt the laptop was crazy hot, and the charging port, I think it got slightly burnt or something, because the charger itself kept working, but it just wouldn't charge the laptop. And eventually the laptop turned off and I lost all the files that I had saved on the laptop. After that, my solution was to use the phone. So I was saving some stuff on the phone, and then from there delivering it or sending it to my friend Adam back at home to save it. But then after that, I got a notification on the phone asking me to format something. Didn't understand what it meant, so I just clicked yes. Big mistake. And then it formatted the SD card of the camera in a way that it just stopped working. I kind of panicked, and then I searched how to reformat it back to the correct format. I immediately did that, and then all the files were just gone, so the camera was just empty. So I thought that they just deleted the files, and I was annoyed, and I thought there was nothing I can do about it. But actually the files were just hidden, so there was a way to get them back, but at the time I didn't know. So I just immediately started recording once again, which is a big mistake because that kind of eliminates the files. It overwrites the previous files that were hidden, and then completely lost them. Yeah, well, nothing I can do about it now. Just got to learn from that lesson and move forward. But yeah, so this video a bit shorter than the last one, but try to learn from that mistake, and in the next video try to improve the quality. Everyone, so that wraps it up for this tournament week. The singles ended up with me losing against a very good American player. This match was a very good learning experience for me that I'm going to try to use to keep building in the right direction. Definitely a lot of lessons learned there, and a lot that I can keep improving and keep, working hard at. And the doubles ended up with us winning the first round in a very tough battle. Ended up being 10-7 in the match tiebreak. And then in the next round, quarterfinals, we lost against two French guys that ended up winning the tournament. So from this week, some positives to take from it, and definitely a lot of lessons that I can learn. A lot of things that I can look forward to in my own game. When I see these areas in my game that I can get better at, it gets me excited. So I'm gonna head back onto the practice court, keep trying to get better with every single practice session. Build as much as I can before the next tournament. Let's go.